Hello, I'm Vicky from SafeSol's. We're a water treatment company that sell Huasan silver stabilised hydrogen peroxide and a variety of test strips and kits for testing hydrogen peroxide. All our test strips and kits measure peroxide levels rather than specific product levels. Test kits: 20 to 5,000 parts per million peroxide test kit mini. The hydrogen peroxide mini test kit measures hydrogen peroxide from 20 to 5,000 parts per million. It has plastic vial and an HP1 hydrogen peroxide buffer and an HP2 high-range titrant. The sample size of the water to be tested depends on the anticipated concentration of the peroxide in the treated water. The peroxide result is based on the number of drops of HP2 added to the water sample to allow it to change to a pink colour for at least 30 seconds. As there are a variety of different sample sizes used depending on the range of the sample, the number of drops of HP2 reagent added is multiplied by a sample size factor. This sample size factor depends on the size of the sample used. As the reagents in this test are classified as corrosive, it's important to wear safety goggles and gloves so that you are not encountering any harmful reagents. When disinfecting water systems, people disinfect at a variety of concentrations, so we're going to demonstrate the kit using a peroxide level of 100 parts per million and 1,000 parts per million. For the 100 parts per million level, we'll be using a sample size of 20 millilitres. The larger the sample size, the more accurate the result will be. I'm measuring 20 millilitres of water to be tested into the sample pot. The easiest way to measure this is using a syringe. Once a sample is added to the pot, 25 drops of HP1 buffer should be added to the sample and then swirled to mix. The colour is usually a light yellow. Then add HP2 high-range titrant to the sample, 1 drop at a time, carefully counting the number of drops added. Once the water sample stays pink for 30 seconds, then we multiply the number of drops used by the sample size factor. In this case, we have used a sample size of 20 millilitres. Our sample size factor is 10. We have used 10 drops, so 10 times 10 gives us 100 parts per million peroxide. For the 1,000 parts per million level, we're using a sample size of 5 millilitres. However, this must be diluted with distilled or deionised water. I measure a 5 millilitre sample into the vial using a syringe, then add 5 millilitres of water. Again, 25 drops of the HP1 buffer are added to the sample and then swirled to mix. The HP2 high-range buffer is then added to the sample. Again, carefully count the number of drops added to the sample. In this case, we must multiply the number of drops by a sample size factor of 40. The things to note with this test are: 1. Do not use more HP2 reagent than required to turn the sample pink for more than 30 seconds, as this will make the test inaccurate. And 2, other oxidizing agents such as chlorine will be included in the result, but it isn't significant compared to the hydrogen peroxide level.